Just the other day, Bitcoin's chart looked something like this, where we had another lower high on the chart, just around that 60,000 level. It looked bleak, sentiment was down, people were upset, bored, frustrated, and then things changed. The Fed stepped in, the bulls stepped in, and we broke above that resistance. This is a descending broadening wedge pattern, and we are very close to getting our first major higher high on the chart. The August 25th high, if you just mark that up, Bitcoin came within just a few pips of actually breaking that. We even saw a breakout on the daily RSI. So where are we headed next? That is what we're going to discuss in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is September 25th. It is Wednesday, middle of the week, and Bitcoin is hanging out around 63,500. The market stalled a little bit today. The S&P 500 is sitting just below neutral. Bitcoin's kind of just hanging out at these recent local highs. A bit of a flat day in the market, but I think people forget just how close we are to the all-time high. Measuring from current prices, if Bitcoin were to go up 16%, that's a new all-time high, just 16%, which means that if any one of these weekly candles, these types of moves showed up on the chart right now, well, just drag this candle over, place it right where we are. If next week looked something like that, there we go. All of a sudden, the picture changes, the narratives change, and we're off, right? Just like that. I just want you guys to remember things can change quickly in this market. Now, in the last video, I made some intros and stuff like that you guys loved, and I don't have one today, but there's going to be many more of those coming. The response in the comments was overwhelmingly positive, and so definitely look out for that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I noticed that about 20%, over 20% of my viewers are not subscribed to this channel, and we're near 80,000 subscribers. So if we had a 20% pump in subscribers, we could hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. So definitely click that button below. Now, moving on to Bitcoin's descending broadening wedge on the daily chart. What we mentioned at the beginning of the video, Bitcoin has bounced off of the heart line of this pattern just the other day. September 16th, 17th, we bounced, got support on the midline. A descending broadening wedge pattern is one of the most difficult patterns to anticipate and navigate and profit from. It's very difficult to profit from a pattern like this because you're getting lower highs, but you're getting even lower lows, and anticipating those lower lows is really difficult. I think this plays into why people have been so frustrated recently throughout the past many months in crypto, because they just couldn't quite get it right. And I think that goes for a lot of us. It was kind of hard to predict this outcome, but here we are, 16% away from the all-time high. Not very far away, but we do have some resistance above us to get through. The RSI on the daily also lines up with the price action here. We had lower highs, higher lows, and we broke out. Now, obviously, you guys know I'm very bullish on this market, bullish on Bitcoin. I think we're going to hit new all-time highs this year before the end of the year, most likely going into Q4. But there is some downside risk in the short term, which would be Bitcoin retesting the breakout zone and then settling up before actually getting a breakout, retesting the RSI resistance as new support around that 50 level before getting to overbought levels. Those types of moves are always possible and shouldn't be discounted. But in the long term, that type of a move is really nothing. It's just a bunch of noise, a bunch of nonsense within the midst of a macro uptrend. As we were talking about, all it takes is 1 or 2 weeks. If it's really good 1 or 2 weeks, we're at a new all-time high, just 16% away from the all-time high. We're in a macro uptrend. So the bulls are the ones in control, have been in control since the beginning of 2023. If you take a look at the monthly line chart, look at this monthly line chart, right? Imagine if you were only looking at the monthly line chart and then you looked at crypto social media going bananas, panicking on every dip. And if you were just looking at this chart, you wouldn't even understand why they were upset or panicking or frustrated. We're doing really well. We're building support on the previous 2021 resistance. So big picture, things are looking really good. So looking at the monthly candles, you can see that we are closing our monthly candles. The market is settling up at the previous peak of the last cycle, where we settled up in the last cycle. Bulls are in control right now. Now we are sitting right next to resistance here, that previous lower high. And if we create a higher high on the chart, that is a strong vote of confidence from the bulls. And if we just pull up my favorite moving average, which is the 128-day SMA. This moving average has played a huge role in past cycles, being the main support in 2017, being the breakdown zone, the resistance in 2017, and it also marked right around that breakout in 2019 and the breakdown in 2019. So the market is definitely keeping up with this moving average, using it as resistance and support, right? Breakdown zone right there, major support right here, 2021. And yeah, we've had a couple lulls below this zone as of recently, but I like to see that right now we are starting to hold above it. We've now had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, today, 6 days above the 128-day SMA. And the bulls are really doing a good job so far of maintaining levels above this. And so if they continue to do that, more likely we break out above resistance. And that would be the first higher high on the chart since March, the first major discernible higher high, I should say. So that would be a huge deal, guys. And I think getting above that 65,000 level is going to initiate a lot of confidence for Bitcoin and will ultimately just lead to a breakout into new all-time highs. As long as the S&P 500 can remain above its breakout zone, right? The S&P currently trading at new all-time highs. And S&P all-time highs always precede Bitcoin all-time highs. There's never been a new Bitcoin all-time high without the S&P first having done that. And so the S&P, while it could dip back down to retest the previous all-time high before running again, that's possible. You know, ultimately, as long as we hold that previous all-time high and then run again, Bitcoin is likely to give us a nice result of this consolidation. And if Bitcoin does end up breaking out in that way, well, the textbook suggests that from your high to the lowest low of your descending broadening wedge pattern, which is that low right there, if you extrapolate that and you put it on the potential breakout zone, that lands you at 102,000. I know, sounds crazy, sounds ridiculous, but that is what the textbook is telling us. And you know what? It is a long-term pattern, right? This wasn't just some 2, 3, 4 week pennant formation. For the better part of 2024, we were going sideways and down, descending broadening wedge. This is a long-term pattern, and likely it was just an accumulation zone for a lot of the bigger players. Long-term accumulation for almost a whole year. If this breaks out, it's likely going to give us a substantial breakout. Now, we're not going to go up in a straight line. That's not what that line represents. It could take Bitcoin, 6 months to actually get to that $102,000 textbook target. Might just trickle up for half a year. And as you guys should know by now, if you're a viewer of this channel, the thing that supports the idea of a 6-month uptrend is the fact that we've broken the weekly RSI downtrend. And every time we do that, there's at least 6 months to a year of upside. Just go back in time. This one led to a year. 2019, 2020, broke out the RSI, 1 year up to 65,000. Right, go back in time, look at 2018, 6 months up. So these weekly RSI breakouts are no joke, and we just got one. So at least 6 months to the upside, descending broadening wedge target, 102,000 with a 6-month time target. So that's what we're looking for right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a like, subscribe. And guys, if you haven't joined the Patreon, do so today. There are limited slots. The prices will go up, but you can lock in these prices now for a lifetime, and there is currently an annual discount. We're doing morning voice chats now in the Discord, so you can hop into a call with me just about every morning of the week and ask me whatever questions you want, altcoin picks, trades, Bitcoin, whatever. Join the Patreon to get connected to the Discord. You can only join my Discord by becoming a member of the Patreon, going to your settings and connecting Patreon to Discord, and you'll be loaded in. So take advantage of this now while it's here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.